Hi, before we begin, I'd like to point out that I'm not a historian. I taught history at an international school. I love history. I devour history. I'm going to put all my sources in the description below. But bottom line is, if I do make a mistake, please point them out. Put them in the commentary. I'll be happy to be told I've made a mistake. Thank you.
Early 20th century Indonesia. What was it like? And why are we discussing it? Okay, so in the upcoming weeks, I'm going to be talking about ex-President Suharto and his years in power. But before that, and for this episode, I'd like to have a prologue looking at what life was like in Indonesia between 1900 and 1945. And of course, Indonesia didn't exist. The Republic of Indonesia did not exist in those years. It was a Dutch colony. But between 1900 and 1921, which was when Suharto was born, there were great achievements made by the Dutch in the sense that they managed to defeat the Balinese, defeat Sumatrans, pretty much get hold of what we now think of as the Republic of Indonesia. And they did it in the last space of around 1920. And this is where Suharto was born, 1921, Java. Now, when Suharto was born, it was a very different Indonesia to what we know of as now. Most people in Java spoke Javanese. Most people in Bali spoke Balinese. Of course, a lot of people still do speak Balinese, Sundanese, Javanese, etc. Most Indonesians are bilingual. Neither here nor there. Bahasa Indonesia, or what we think of as Bahasa Indonesia, was generally spoken in Sumatra. So there was no unifying, no lingua franca of Indonesia at the time of Suharto's birth. A quick fact: Javanese is the largest spoken language to have never had an active newspaper. A little bit of trivia. Moving on. So, Suharto born in 21, generally speaking Javanese, and at that time there was no tourism. Very few people travelled outside their kampung. And not a lot happened between 1920 and 1942. And in 1942, something was to happen that would change the face of Indonesia, which is specifically the invasion of Japanese. World War II. The Dutch, well defeated. The Indonesians, hey, come on Japan. But what the Indonesians forgot was how the Japanese despised everybody outside of Japan. And when I say that, I'm not trying to diss the Japanese, but they were bastards. They were absolute bastards to everybody, not just the Javanese, the Filipinos, the Dutch women. I mean, we talk about slavery, my God. They'd send the men to work in the mines, women would be sex slaves. They were bastards. Anyway, Suharto, of course, started to come to the fore during this time. And it is from there I will take part 2, which will look at his road to power up to 1968, of when he took over the leadership of Indonesia. I hope you've enjoyed part 1. Part 2 will be a little longer, and see you later.